Welcome to Part 1 where we explore virtualization technology. Let's begin by installing and configuring Windows Server 2022. Create a new VM and follow the steps shown on the screen. Make sure to name it VM01 and then select your ISO image and select Unattended Download. For base memory, choose 4096 MB and for processor, choose 2 CPU. And make sure your hard disk size is 256 GB. However, depending on your hardware specification, you can go lower. In the next step, make sure to configure your network adapter setting to host only adapter as shown on the screen. In the next step, we will add 7 virtual hard drive. Make sure to follow the steps shown on the screen. This is an important step for setting up RAID 5 in this video. Firstly, click on Create and make a 20 GB hard disk with the type VHD, and then click on Finish. Make sure to repeat this process for 7 times to create 7 virtual disks. Please make sure to carefully follow the steps shown on the screen. Now we have made 7 virtual hard drives. Now let's add it to our VM02. Select the first virtual hard drive you have created and click on Choose. Now repeat the process shown on the screen to add all the 7 virtual hard drive we have created. Now we have successfully added 7 virtual hard drive to our VM02. Now let's start this virtual machine. Click on Next, and then click on Install Now. Select the last option, which is Data Center Evaluation, Desktop Experience, and click on Next. Now, tick the box and then click on Next and choose Custom Installation as shown on the screen. Then scroll down to find your 256 GB hard drive, so we can partition it to 128 GB, which is 131,072 MB. Make sure to follow the steps as shown on the screen. Now choose Drive 7, Partition 2 to install your Windows Server 2022. Now patiently wait for the installation to complete. Now create a password. In our case, we will use Secure IT, as shown on the screen. Now log in with the password that we just have created. Please patiently wait for it to load up. Now we have successfully installed Windows Server 2022 in our VirtualBox. Next up, let's configure the domain name of this. Please ensure to follow the steps shown on the screen. Firstly, let's add a new role and feature, which is the Active Directory Domain Services. Make sure to follow the steps shown on the screen. Select Active Domain Directory Service, and then click on Add Feature, and then click on Next. Please follow the steps shown on the screen. Now patiently wait for it to install. Now click on Promote this server to a domain controller and choose New Forest and add a domain name. We will use s11219345.com and then click on Next. Please ensure to follow the steps shown on the screen to set up this domain. Make a new password for this domain and then click on Next. Follow the steps shown on the screen to configure this domain properly. Click on Next. Keep on clicking Next again and again, as shown on the screen. Finally, click on Install and patiently wait for the configuration process to finish. Now it will automatically restart. Please patiently wait for this process to finish. Now we have successfully added the Active Domain Directory and added a new forest. Now let's log in. Now let's configure our Ethernet settings. Please ensure to follow the steps shown on the screen. Go to Control Panel, and then go to Network and Internet Settings. Please ensure to follow the steps shown on the screen to configure our Ethernet settings properly. Finally, configure the IP address to 192.168.1.1. The subnet will be set automatically. Now configure the preferred DNS server to 192.168.1.1 as shown on the screen, and then click on OK. Now we have successfully configured our Ethernet settings. Now let's extend the disk partition by 64 GB. Firstly, open Command Prompt and run it as administrator. Please follow the steps shown on the screen. Please ensure to closely follow my commands. Firstly, type disk part as shown on the screen, and hit on Enter. Now type list disk and hit on Enter as shown on the screen. This will show the disk list. Now we will type, select disk 0, and hit on Enter as shown on the screen. Now we will type, list partition, and click on Enter. This will show all the partitions on disk 0. Now we will type, select partition 3, and hit on Enter. This partition belongs to recovery, and we will delete this. Now we will type delete partition override, and hit on Enter as shown on the screen. This will delete the recovery partition, and allow us to extend our primary partition by 64 GB. Now go to Disk Management, and follow the steps shown on the screen. Now right-click on C Drive, and click on Extend Volume. Now click on Next. Now type 65536 as shown on the screen and click on Next. Now click on Finish. As shown on the screen, we have successfully extended our primary partition by 64 GB. Now let's configure virtual memory to use 2 GB for page caching. Firstly, open System Settings. Now scroll to the bottom and click on Advanced System Settings and follow the steps shown on the screen. Now click on Advanced and then click on Change as shown on the screen. Now let's add a custom size of 2 GB, which is 2048 MB. Ensure to follow the steps shown on the screen to properly configure the virtual memory. Now click on Set, and then click on OK. Please follow the steps shown on the screen. Now restart it to properly set up the virtual memory. Now log in. Now follow the steps shown on the screen to check if we have successfully configured our virtual memory. As shown on the screen, we have successfully configured our virtual memory to 2 GB. Now let's implement a storage pool with RAID 5. Firstly, go to Disk Management and verify if you have 7 disks needed for RAID 5. As shown on my screen, I have 7 disks that I added at the very beginning of this video. Now go to Server Manager and follow the steps shown on the screen to implement a storage pool. Click on New Storage Pool, and then click on Next. We will name it RAID 5, and then click on Next. Now we will select all the hard drive, and we will change the last hard drive settings to Hot Spare as shown on the screen. And then click on Next. Now we will click on Create. Please wait while it creates our storage pool. We created our storage pool. Let's check this. We have our 7 hard drives here. Now let's create RAID 5 with Parity. Follow the steps shown on the screen. We will name it Parity and click on Next. We will click on Next again. Now choose Parity and click on Next. Now choose Thin and click on Next. Now specify the disk size to 20 GB and click on Next. Now click on Create. Give it a moment for this process to finish. The process is finished without any errors. Now click on Close. This will open another setup window. Click on Next. Choose Parity, and then click on Next. Make sure it's 20 GB and click on Next again. Over here we can assign drive letters. We will go with the default one. Now click on Next. We will name it RAID 5 and click on Next. Now we will click on Create. Now, give it a moment for this process to complete. This process has ended without any errors. Click on Close. Now let's go to our Windows Explorer. Now go to this PC, and we can see our RAID 5 disk successfully created over here. Now let's secure this disk using BitLocker drive encryption. Firstly, go to Add Roles and Features to install BitLocker. Keep on clicking Next as shown on the screen. Now choose BitLocker drive encryption and click on Add Feature. Then click on Next. Now click on Install and wait for the installation process to finish. Now click on Close and then restart the PC. Now log in. Now open Control Panel and go to System and Security, and then go to BitLocker drive encryption. Now choose RAID 5 disk and click on Turn on BitLocker and wait for this process to finish. Now click on Use Password and assign a password. Now click on Next and choose Save to a file. This will save our recovery key in a text file. We save this file in the document folder. Now click on Next. Click on Next again for 2 times as shown on the screen. Now press on Start Encrypting. Now we wait for the encryption process to finish. Now our encryption process has completed successfully. Now we will unlock this encrypted drive with the recovery key that we have saved. Now go to Disk Management and follow the steps shown on the screen. Now go to your RAID 5 hard drive and switch it to offline. Now switch it back to online so that we can try to unlock this drive. Now go to Windows Explorer and go to Documents and open the BitLocker recovery file. Now copy the recovery key. Now go back to Windows Explorer and go to this PC and click on Local Disk F Drive and then click on More Options and choose Enter Recovery Key and paste the recovery key and click on Unlock. Now the drive is unlocked. Click on it to open it. Now let's create a new folder and name it CS311. Now let's create a roar.txt file here. Now type hello from Windows Server and save it. We will use this file on part 2, whereby we will share this directory over a network and open it in Windows 11 Client OS. Thank you for watching, and please make sure to watch part 2.